Okay, it's Monday, March 1st. Happy International Women's Month, Andrew. I think that's what started this month. So congratulations to us and them. And to kick us off into that month, we were ending February with Rozenstruik versus Gane Fight Night. Started
that was a women's match, right?
Yeah. We pretty much felt like it. That was an unintentional good segue. That's not where I was going with this, but that worked out pretty well. Let's just start right there, man. That was a boring ass fight.
Dude, besides it being boring, I thought it was like fixed or something. I don't know how else to put it, because the whole time I'm watching Rozenstruik, and I'm watching Herb watch Rozenstruik, and I'm thinking, dude, Herb thinks he's gonna knock this dude out. Gane is gonna be gone. You know what I mean? And all right, you're conserving energy round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, but then in round 5, you should be dumping. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't the dump occur? He looked fine. It wasn't like he was winded. It didn't look like he was that exhausted. So I don't understand the logic behind your strategy, dude. You should have dumped every single last drop right there in the 5th. Ended it. Even if you went down, who cares? Do something.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Jairzinho had 42 significant strikes for a 5-rounder. Gane, in his credit, I mean, he was actually throwing, but like he was still kind of playing it safe. It looked like when we were watching, like he wasn't.
Yeah,
he had
totally.
They both had a couple of bursts in the beginning-ish, and I think once Gane felt like he comfortably secured 3 rounds, it was just more like, let's just make sure I don't lose. So he was fighting to not lose versus fighting to win. That's how it looked like to me. So he ended with 102 significant strikes. And the thing is, so almost half were leg kicks, 46. I don't remember them being like insanely intense, but I don't know if they were. That's a very interesting breakdown for a heavyweight. 102 significant strikes and almost half are leg kicks. He had 4.5 minutes of control time. I mean, I guess the only good thing it looks like Rozenstruik did 2 for 14 takedown attempts for Gane, so he was 12 for 14 on his takedown defense. So he got an L on the record, but at least he probably improved his takedown defense for the UFC stats page.
I mean, even Dana was apparently upset with this fight, and I can see it, because you have this as your main card, your main event, and one guy doesn't show up at all. The other guy, is halfway there, but he doesn't even
played it safe.
Yeah, he played it completely safe. I can't blame him to a certain extent, because you won already. Why would you risk yourself? Why would you risk your health? Right. You walk into Rozenstruik's range and he catches you with a lucky, jab or a lucky a lucky strike. That'll put you on the floor. So I get it, but at the same time, I completely understand Dana and why he would be upset with the situation. Like I was upset with the situation. So
yeah, because these guys are what were they? I think 4 versus 7. I think Jairzinho was 4. Gane, I'm pretty sure was 7. I think Rozenstruik was 4. So these are highly ranked guys, both top 10 guys. And again, I won't say about Gane, but yeah, Jairzinho really was super gun shy. In the beginning of the fight, I was like, dude, is this going to be another Ngannou versus Lewis, which was absolutely awful. Now, it wasn't that to that extent, fortunately, but it also wasn't, because when we were talking about this fight amongst each other leading up to the event, we were like, this is going to be a banger. There's going to be bombs being launched, and it was a peaceful protest. It wasn't the war.
You know what I found really hilarious? It's a complete aside, but when the John Jones tweet came up on the side over there, and he's like, what did he say? He's daddy when daddy comes home. And
yeah.
Immediately after, Ngannou puts out his tweet, man.
Daddy's coming home or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was honestly the most entertaining part of that fight was when those 2 sequence of tweets came out. The rest of it was no point. Yeah, Jones says these boys better get used to pushing the pace. All this standing around ain't gonna fly when daddy comes home. And then Ngannou responded to that by saying daddy's coming home or something with like question marks and like a laughing face.
It was so funny, man. That was the highlight of that fight, I think. That just
that's without a doubt.
Nothing to do with anything, man. It was awesome.
Jon Jones already stealing the spotlight amongst the heavyweights.
I don't know what you do.
I was looking forward to this, man, because last week we had 4 heavyweight fights last week. 3 were pretty good.
Yeah.
Not pretty good. 3 were good, especially how that main event ended between Lewis and Blades. And then, just did not live up to I mean, there wasn't like an insane amount of hype behind this card, but if you watch the sport, you're kind of aware of what's the heavyweight division, and you know these 2 guys. You know the power behind Jairzinho. You know Gane is an up-and-coming youngster. He barely has any MMA experience. This guy's been fighting, I think, doing MMA for like less than 3 years or something. He's 30 years old. He's already probably now maybe going to crack the top 5. I think the rankings will be updated tomorrow. It was just it was like one of those fights where, again, he was like, I feel like Gane was probably thinking, I have a chance here to crack into the top 5. I'm just going to like execute my game plan to a T. I'm not going to take any chances. And, you can do that. As I was listening to DC and Helwani today on their show, and DC was saying, he's like, you can have fights like this. It's just as long as this isn't the type of fighter you are, you can have like a snooze fest like this here and there. But like, as long as you're not
here and there,
this kind
man,
of thing, everything.
You say here and there, but
like, at least a
what's his professional record in UFC? He's 8-0, but
he's 8-0 professionally, and this was I think his 4th UFC fight.
Okay, dude, like that's a little too early to start playing the safe game because Dana's riding your ass, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's what happened with Colby. He was playing it safe, and it got to the point where Dana was about to nix that contract, and he had to come up with some sort of gimmick, some sort of character to keep not just the crowd, but Dana interested, which
right.
Probably important.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean,
keep your boss
there's
happy,
really nothing else to even say about these guys.
No, the only final comment that I have is their last fight before they fought each other was against Dos Santos, both of them,
and they both knocked him out.
They both knocked him out. So it's like, okay, dude, this is gonna be fantastic. It wasn't. I don't know. Disappointing is all I have to say.
Actually, what I just remembered, because we were saying this while we were watching, you were like, because you were defending Jairzinho. You were like, he's just conserving energy. He might come out in the 4th. He might come out in the 5th. I'm like, he's not conserving energy. He just hasn't done jack. Like, he hasn't even pulled anything.
That was my Mountain
you brought up a good point.
That was my Mountain Dew.
You brought up that was a good one, was about Overeem. Probably. But you were like, well, dude, look at what he did to Overeem. And I was like, actually, I momentarily did forget about that, because he caught Overeem. Overeem was probably very possibly going to win that fight. There was like 10, 15. There was not a lot of time left in that fight.
I think it was in the last 10 seconds. It was last 2 seconds even, dude. It was very.
And he got like a walk-off buzzer beating KO. So
it was,
that's the thing with these big guys. They have that ability.
Round 5, 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
So you had 4 seconds left and he knocked him out. So I when you mentioned that, I was like, actually, it's possible, but he just didn't, like, he may as well have had his hand in his pockets because he wasn't using them. It was very bizarre, but it happens. I mean, again, this was not like the same way as like Lewis and Ngannou when that fight happened. Those are 2 different animals. But the fact that fight ended up being the way it did, then it could happen with any of these heavyweights.
Absolutely, dude.
Even the last DC and Stipe fight wasn't overly exciting. The third one
wasn't.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
We were just like sitting there watching, like they're just poking each other's eyes, and just DC has his hands up like this, and he's trying to push Stipe, and so that was the main event.